Hello, bro? My true friend. Yo, so check this out. During the 2025 Republic Day parade in India, they pulled out all the stops and showed off this beast of a tank called the T-90S Bhishma. Imagine this. It's like the big star of their armored lineup, and yeah, they even call it Bhishma, which totally sounds like something out of an epic saga, right? This thing is modern, powerful, and basically screams, "Don't mess with us!" Here's the wild part. This tank isn't just about showing off tech. It's also a symbol of India and Russia being tight for years when it comes to military stuff. You've got the T-90s leading the charge, teaming up with India's homemade Arjun tanks and the old school but still kicking T-72s. Now, if we're talking numbers, and we gotta, the Indian Army has a crazy 3,740 tanks in total, according to this report called Military Balance 2024. That includes 122 Arjuns, homegrown pride, 2,418 T-72M1s, and a solid 1,200 T-90S Bhishmas. The T-90S is like their MPV, built under license with some slick tech upgrades that make it a key player in India's defense game. Long story short, India's not just flexing, it's making a statement. All right, listen up. The T-90S Bhishma? Yeah, that's the souped-up version of the Russian T-90, and people legit call it one of the most badass tanks in the world right now. This thing's got a 125mm smoothbore gun that means business, plus composite armor, and a fire control system that's straight-up cutting edge. Whether it's rolling through the scorching desert or climbing tough mountain terrain, the T-90S gets the job done, no sweat. And get this, the name Bhishma? It's not just a name, it's a vibe. They picked it to honor this legendary warrior dude from India's Mahabharata, who was all about strength and resilience. Perfect match for a tank that's built to dominate. Performance-wise, the T-90S doesn't play around. It's got crazy mobility and firepower, can nail targets from way out, and keeps the crew safe with top-tier armor and countermeasures. Basically, if you're on the battlefield, you want this bad boy on your side. Yo, so the T-90S Bhishma isn't just any tank. It's tricked out specifically for the Indian Army to handle whatever crazy conditions the country throws at it. We're talking serious upgrades here. First off, it's got this next-level, made-in-India fire control system that's all about locking in on targets with pinpoint accuracy, whether it's scorching deserts or icy Himalayan peaks. But wait, there's more. This bad boy also comes with a locally designed active protection system. Translation? It can handle anti-tank guided missiles, ATGMs, and RPGs like a pro, keeping the crew safe even in the heat of battle. And let's not forget the armor. They've loaded this thing up with Indian-made composite armor and explosive reactive armor, ERA. Basically, it's like wearing the ultimate body shield, built to tank, pun intended, hits from modern anti-tank weapons. The T-90S Bhishma? Total game changer, no cap. All right, let's talk about how the T-90S Bhishma is totally built to flex in India's unique game. For starters, they gave it a beefed-up engine. Like, this thing can move across all kinds of terrain. Think deserts, mountains, you name it. High-altitude regions? No problem. That's clutch because a lot of India's defense positions are way up there. But here's the real kicker. They hooked this tank up with a digital battlefield management system, BMS. Basically, it's like the tank's got a brain now. It talks to other units, keeps everything in sync, and makes those combined arms ops way more effective. So yeah, all these custom mods, they're not just for show. The T-90S Bhishma is designed to crush modern warfare while handling India's defense challenges like a pro. So, India and Russia? They've been tight when it comes to military gear since way back in the Cold War days. Over the last decade, though, their bromance has hit another level, especially with armored tech. Front and center in this collab? The T-90S. India's been getting these tanks straight from Russia, and even set up its own production lines to keep the supply flowing. Here's the breakdown. India first started snagging T-90S tanks in 2006 with a 347 tank deal. By 2010, they were like, why not just make them ourselves? So, boom. Licensed production kicked off, and they've been cranking them out ever since. Then in 2013, they went all in with another big contract. 236 more tanks for about 60 billion Indian rupees. roughly $1 billion. Long story short, these moves seriously bulked up India's tank game and locked in its place as a major player in armored warfare. Alright, so here's the deal. India's move to start building T-90S tanks at home? That's a power play, no doubt. They've been cranking them out at the Heavy Vehicles Factory, HVF, in Avadi, Tamil Nadu, and so far, over 1,000 of these beasts have rolled out with some slick upgrades. Think modern fire control systems and tougher armor. The whole operation's been on a steady timeline. Back in 2006, India locked in the first deal for 347 tanks, with deliveries running from 2010 to 2015. Then, in 2007, they said, "Let's do more," and grabbed 300 more tanks for 49 billion Indian rupees, about 1.2 billion US dollars. Most of those, 223 to be exact, were assembled locally. Fast forward to 2013, and India doubled down with another contract for 236 tanks, which hit the ground from 2018 to 2022. The result? The T-90S isn't just a tank, it's the tank. Holding it down as the core of India's armored forces. So, when it comes to defense, India and Russia are basically ride-or-die partners, especially in the armored vehicle game. The T-90S isn't rolling solo here. It's part of a crew that includes Russian heavyweights like the Su-30 MKI fighter jets, S-400 air defense systems, and even the INS Vikramaditya aircraft carrier. It's like a showcase of how deep their military bromance runs. Lately, India's been mixing it up and bringing in gear from other places, but Russia's still the go-to for those critical systems. Plus, it's not just about buying stuff. India's been getting tech transfers and co-production deals that help it level up its own defense game. Take the T-90S. It's not just about importing tanks. Building these bad boys under license has been a big win. It lets India keep its tank fleet stacked and ready, while cutting down on how much it has to rely on foreign suppliers. Smart move, right? Alright, here's how it's going down. India's been all about leveling up its defense game, and the T-90S has been front and center in that upgrade. The Indian Army's mechanized forces are growing stronger, and this tank is like the MVP for keeping borders secure and flexing that strategic muscle. Why? Because the T-90S can do it all. It takes on multiple targets at once, works like a charm in any weather, and can hold its own on any battlefield. Basically, it's a tank that says, "Yeah, I'm built for this." And it's not just about what it can do now. India's keeping the T-90S fresh with constant upgrades to the tank itself and its systems. With the way things are heating up along the borders with China and Pakistan, you better believe this tank's going to be a big part of the action for years to come. It's not just a piece of the puzzle. It's the glue holding it together. So, the Republic Day Parade on January 26, 2025. Total flex. It was all about showing off how tight India and Russia are when it comes to defense, especially in the tank game. The T-90S Bhishma rolled in like a boss, reminding everyone that it's not just about Russian tech, it's also about how India's stepping up its own defense production game. With the T-90S fleet getting constant upgrades and cranking out more units, India's making sure it's locked and loaded for whatever comes its way. Whether it's keeping things chill in South Asia or handling border drama, this tank's got India covered. It's like saying, "Yeah, we're here, we're strong, and we're ready for whatever." So what do you think?